wanted to focus on three intriguing candidates that are chasing the Joker. That's James Harden. He leads the league in assists, and his Nets are the 2 seed. LeBron, he was the MVP frontrunner before his injury, but he could be back before the playoffs. And the back-to-back MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I always like to say his last name. He's near the top in scoring. Now, remember, y'all, this is not a conversation about who is the favorite. This is a conversation about qualifications. So if I'm going to talk about who's most qualified, whether it's James Harden, Giannis, or LeBron James to be in that MVP conversation, then I will first start by saying who is disqualified. Whether it's Pee Wee and the YMCA, you know this in sports. No quitting allowed. James Harden, he broke the first rule of sports by quitting on his team, the Houston Rockets. I'm from Texas, so I took that a little more personally than most. But James Harden, to me, is disqualified from even being in the conversation, even being in the race, even being in the chase for MVP. So then I got to talk about my guy, the king, LeBron James. Now, here's the problem. You can't afford to miss games in an already shortened season and still be trying to vie for MVP. Not if the other candidates haven't missed any games, particularly due to injury. So LeBron James, albeit when he is there, he is great. Albeit when he is there, his statistics are out of this world, and he makes everyone around him better. But if it's a conversation of qualifications, LeBron James is also thus disqualified as it pertains to Harden and LeBron and Giannis. So the last man standing is really Giannis. Because the only thing disqualifying Giannis is what? He already won back-to-back MVPs, and there's some sort of unwritten rule that you can't win 3 times in a row because the last person to win 3 times in a row is Larry Bird. No, MVP is focused on one season, the present season. And Giannis, in the present season, he has nothing disqualifying him from being an MVP candidate. So when I look at it, Giannis is the most qualified to being the conversation and being in the race and in being in the chase for MVP. Now, Joy is back with us, but she wasn't enough. So I had to bring in my guy, Slick Ric Bucher. Slick, so good to see you. Slick, I
actually think Joy is enough, but I'm glad to be here.
You are first, Slick. Who is the most qualified MVP candidate? James Harden, LeBron, or Giannis?
I am not mad at you, Acho, for making a case for Giannis, knowing in particular that it couldn't have been easy for you to disqualify LeBron.
It hurt my heart. Hurt my heart, Slick. It hurt my heart. I stayed up all night.
Yeah,
I stayed up all night. True story.
I understand. I appreciate it. But the truth is that under the current timeline, he's probably going to play or miss 1/3 of the season, and that simply takes him out of the equation. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm not holding it against him that he's won the last 2 years. I did not vote for him first on my ballot either of the last 2 years. I actually would consider him for the top of my ballot this year because I think he's, well, regardless of what the numbers might say or the record for the Milwaukee Bucks might say, I believe that he's playing a better all-around game. He has been more aggressive when he needs to be. He's being more assertive, and he's had the intangible of being a positive. I say all that, though, in believing that James Harden is the most qualified because he had the most difficult situation. Giannis is playing with the same team that he's played with for the last couple of years. Harden is in a brand new situation, not only went to a new team, but went to that new team after the season had started with sky-high expectations and a team that was essentially built for 2 other guys who, one in the case of Kevin Durant, has missed the majority of this season. And yet, James Harden, as you said, leading the league in assists, far more diversified offensive game, is making the most of the pieces around him and has the team with the best record among these 3. So if we're asking who is the most qualified, simply what James has done on the court and what it has produced for the Brooklyn Nets, I almost said New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets puts him at the top of that. I put Giannis right there, but I put him a close second.
Slick, I wish you would have said the New Jersey Nets because that's not the only slip-up you had in logic. Slick, You can't say that James Harden went through the toughest situation and the most adversity. A wise man once said, Slick, don't lean up against a wall and then complain about your back being up against a wall. That's what James Harden
wise
did, big
Marcellus Wiley?
Yeah, Marcellus, he's a wise man, but I can't give him too many props on this show. Slick, that's what you did. James Harden put himself in a situation. Then he demanded a trade, albeit by action and then by inaction, literally, demanded a trade. And now you're going to give kudos to the person who put himself through the chaos for the chaos?
Okay. So, first of all, he didn't put himself in that position. Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Rockets, by getting rid of Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey as the GM, put James Harden in a situation that he found untenable. But I knew based on our previous conversations that you were going to come up with this argument. And so I thought it might be important to take a closer look at those 8 games that he played with the Houston Rockets at the beginning of the season. And maybe we should compare them to, let's say 2017 and 18, when he was the league MVP. Can we take a look at those numbers? Can we take a look at those overall numbers, the first 8 games of the 2017-18 season and 2020? Well, look at that. How about that? Comparable, one might even argue, better this year. Because you are completely dismissing the fact that he came out of the gate balling and then had an ankle injury, was obviously disappointed that they weren't showing any aggression and getting him elsewhere, and the performance dipped a bit. But comparison to what he did in 2017 and 18, you can't disqualify him because of the numbers in Houston. If you want to make a case for Giannis, if you want to make a case for somebody else as being better overall than James Harden as a MVP candidate, have at it, my friend. But if you are going to try to make a case that James Harden does not deserve it because of what he did not do in Houston in those first 8 games, that simply does not hold up based on the fact that it did not prevent him from winning the MVP previously.
Okay, Slick. There's a quote, comparison is the thief of all joy. I don't think it's what they meant, but your comparison just stole my joy here. Anyway, Joy, I have to bring in you now. Who is the most qualified to be in the MVP conversation between LeBron James, James Harden, and Giannis?
Is this the segment, Tell Me I'm Wrong? Or was that a few segments ago? Okay, well, you're wrong. You're wrong. Now, look, Giannis is having a great season, but he's had a great season the entire time he's been in the league. Like, he's a great player. So, yes, he got the MVP last two years. He's not going to win a third. Let's be honest about what the MVP has become in the NBA. It is a narrative award. It's a narrative award. He's not going to win 3 in a row. He's never won an NBA championship. I mean, LeBron James can't even win an MVP in seasons that he's available. So there's no way that that's happening. Giannis is not winning 3 MVPs in a row. Whether he's the most qualified to or not, it just doesn't matter. That's not going to happen. Now, Rick, everything that you said is correct. Everything that you said about James Harden at the beginning of the season is correct. It hurts me also. I do agree with Emmanuel. It hurts me also because I don't like how he left the Rockets, but he's made up for it. He's played 24 games without KD. That has to count for something, the way that Brooklyn is playing. Everyone else, Jokic is 5th in the West. You have Dame, they're 6th. They have the best record with Harden. They've been playing amazing. He's playing a brilliant brand of basketball. He's definitely qualified to be the MVP, and I think he should be the MVP.
Okay, Joe, I got to go back to you here. Because I don't know if you were to pluck any athlete out of a situation they didn't want to be in and then allow them to hand select their perfect destination, they would probably thrive too. If you want to talk Deshaun Watson pre all the drama going on, if you let him leave Houston and go
James
to a
Harden or
perfect
LeBron
situation.
James?
Hey, Slick, I was about to make a killer point. Okay? So the fact of the matter is, I'm mad at your argument, Slick, but I'm not talking to you right